It's a big club and you simply aren't in it. And a perfect example of this, my friends, would be the leaked phone call that just came out between Kari Lake and Jeff DeWitt, Jeff DeWitt being the Arizona GOP chairman, operating as the mouthpiece for the D.C. establishment in an attempt to buy off Kari Lake from running for the Senate. This is incredibly interesting. And here's the deal. It's also incredibly revealing, at least to anyone who's stuck within the mythologized understanding of what politics has been disseminated for you to understand it as. For anyone that actually has a realistically healthy understanding of the political landscape and understands what these people are, realizes how the government operates and does so behind closed doors, gladly acting like Machiavellian tricksters to consistently pull the levers of power so they can always come out on top. Well, you'll realize this is nothing more than them just showing their hand. This is so obvious, and anyone who I would argue has a healthy understanding of politics knew things like this were already happening. This is just simply revealing it to the public. Now let's go ahead and jump into the beginning of this. I remember this clip going around for a while when Kari Lake ended up giving this speech at CPAC, and she was talking about people that were trying to get her to drop out of politics, and in doing so, give her a position on some major board in a major company with a huge payout. And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. You can't buy me. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I know this kind of stuff happens, but realistically, how important are you? How viable are you? Are you actually someone that's going to have that much influence? Is the establishment actually that worried about you? Because I thought Kari Lake has been interesting, but I was always skeptical of her. And I will admit, I'm here now to openly and gladly eat my words and say, Kari Lake, I was wrong. That is quite impressive that you were willing to stand up to the entirety of the DC establishment and one of their mouthpieces, and in doing so, say, no, fuck you, I won't move, you move. Gladly eating my words about this. This is something I will never have a problem doing, is admitting that I am wrong, because there's nothing more important than doing just that. And with that, let's go ahead and throw it into this clip of Kari Lake proving me exactly that. Wrong.
Somebody showed up at my door this week. They called me before and said, I got to talk to you in person. This can't be done over the phone, which is always kind of like, uh-oh, what's that going to be about? They came to my door and they tried to bribe me out of getting out of politics. It's really happened. I'm telling you this because this is how disgusting politics is. A mom who runs for office and they're afraid of me, they tried to bribe me with a job title, with a huge salary, a position on a board. This is how they do it. And I said, are you kidding me? I walked away from a big job and a big salary. I'm not motivated by that stuff, guys. I'm not. So this person standing before me was sent at the request of some powerful people back east. They want me out of politics. But wait a minute. I thought they already stopped us. Why are they so afraid? I thought they already stopped our movement.
My word, man, I was just wrong about Kari Lake. I always thought her rhetoric was interesting. I thought she was pretty firebrand, and I liked that she wasn't pulling her punches. But in the end, it's still one of those things where so many people who are tarred with the establishment brush, I just realistically can't detach them from it sometimes. And I'm going to be honest, maybe that was the case here. Who knows? Because I certainly don't, but I'm going to be blunt. I didn't expect her to come out in the way she has, openly disdaining the DC establishment types. This is impressive, and this needs to be commended. And what also needs to be commended is how delicately she danced the dance when dealing with Jeff DeWitt in this conversation, and the DC establishment knowing exactly what they're doing, playing the emotional manipulation card, sending someone who Kari Lake knows and is close to try and get her to acquiesce to their demands. These people are not stupid, and it appears most certainly neither is Kari Lake. Let's go ahead and throw it into this conversation, and then I'll break it down from the point that we get to that I want to pause it at. Let's go.
Don't tell people.
They're going to try to have me murdered.
I wouldn't doubt that either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. Right? They say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now. Like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. If you say, I got offered to buy out, don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate. because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know it's about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know if it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
Just team. You know?
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want to stay out for 2 years. But, I'll tell you what I can offer you. But, I said, you can do whatever you want. It's talking head, this and that. So, the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, this has to stay between us. Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her, to keep her out? And I said, well, what are you willing to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad, bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money.
I know. All these consultants don't want their payday to end. And I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on.
The first thing Kari Lake addresses is so smart, and I will admit it's just the best way to start this off. Who is it? Who's offering this? What do they want? And then Jeff DeWitt goes off to say what? Forget the who. Don't worry about that. Just pay attention to this deal that I'm offering you. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain pulling my strings like a puppeteer. No, we can't focus on that. What we have to address is the D.C. establishment and the offer that they're trying to give you to bribe you to not run for Senate. Kari Lake then goes on to say, they're going to have to kill me. And then afterwards, she says, here's the thing. This is a hill worth dying on. And this is something so many people in the political class need to understand. And anyone that's watched me for a bit has heard me use this term numerous times. Because when it comes down to it, if you really want to institute real change that matters, you're going to have some sacrificial places with which you're going to have to lay. And because of that fact, you're going to have some hills that you're willing to die on. And it most certainly appears that Kari Lake has found one of hers. And because of that fact is one of the reasons I will gladly eat my words and say that I was wrong in part of my assessment in relation to Kari Lake. Let's go ahead and throw it back into the rest of this phone call.
I'm not, if they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona.
Or
to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause, and then you fill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them. And they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it? So that we the people can pick our...
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. And I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's... Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their...
I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
No, I know. Look. And
you don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will, but...
No, I don't think that's the way they are.
Either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm just
going
going
to... What would that entail?
That would entail Not telling, layman's telling me, you got to distance yourself from Trump. I know, you distance yourself from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for the betterment of Arizona. I'm not going to let these people back in D.C. tell me not to run.
I'm telling you not to run.
I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
But I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't give about our country.
Do you understand, though? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them that.
If you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them. And that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out so bad.
It's not about Trump. This isn't about Trump. It's about you.
It should be very apparent to everyone with even half of a working brain what side of reality Jeff DeWitt is on, and is most certainly on those who seek to constrict the freedom of the people who are operating in that of the free world of the United States. This man is nothing more than an establishment shill, and I cannot wait to see the fall that will come from when someone like this takes the death blow from their ego to their IQ. It will be genuinely marvelous. And something we have to address the fact here is that Kari Lake talking about these things with Jeff DeWitt, and what does he say? He goes on and says, well, you should be honored, really. This means that they know you're powerful, and because of that fact, this is why they're offering you this. Realistically, you should be honored. You should take this deal. He's trying to soften the pie and make it so she will take the bite. So she will gladly go down with his proposition because he is trying to sweeten the deal and effectively soften her up by bolstering her ego. But here's the thing. Kari Lake is fiercely independent, and anyone who's paid any bit of attention to her knows that much at the least. And what we can see is she clearly stuck to her guns here and called out the DC establishment for the fact that they don't care about the country. They don't care about the people within it. They don't care who suffers. All they care about is the almighty dollar and making sure that they come out on top. Because that's why they always play both sides of every single coin, because they need to make sure that whatever happens, whatever side it lands on, they are the ones who can come out successful. It doesn't matter who within the American populace has to suffer. It just matters that the DC elite were the ones who prospered. Let's go ahead and throw it into the rest of this.
Not about Trump. Some people that are in on this. I know.
Listen, I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win, and why don't they get behind me?
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. This was your name on the ballot. And I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up, and I have to work on my book.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not good. I appreciate their concern.
Just to say, is there a number at which
I can be bought?
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would even, that anybody would think this is...
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I am not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
I mean,
I can win, and they should get behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight? No.
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
I think.
It is being bought. No. They are trying to buy me out of running. It's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm offended for our country. We have people like this who live here.
What I think is this, is it can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff than you currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like this. These people are un-American, and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
again,
That's immoral. I couldn't look at I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I, you know.
it's very powerful people that are willing to, they really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So they want Jim Lehman, that's a new name?
No, actually, that's not even, that's a possibility, but they're even asking me, like,
I know, they've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff, take it back to them.
Oh.
I gotta get working.
I know you
I
do.
love you, but I gotta get working.
All right, I appreciate it.
I'm just, can't believe this.
Hey, again, be honored. Instead of them just them working to beat you, they're trying to, like...
This is about getting Trump out.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Trump never came on once.
Well, it's about DeSantis, getting DeSantis in. Getting DeSantis is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
I do too. That's my first goal.
Yeah.
But they can't have me in the governor's office because then we're going to root out some of this corruption.
But again, it's like...
You know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
You need a strong party to help
I think
you
you should go public with this and then say, hey,
no.
these people don't want to, they don't want,
And then I turn my key in my car and I just...
No.
I like my car.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that
Don't tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer this big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't.
All right, I'll see.
Okay, bye-bye.
And that, my friends, is exactly why government is a completely unsalvageable institution not worth even attempting to save. Because people like Jeff DeWitt are the ones who proliferate throughout the hallways of this murk and mire that creates the swamp of Washington, D.C. This disgusting filth is gladly going to sit there and parrot the talking points of the establishment as he claims to talk about the fact of how they've done nothing but lie to the American people, as he claims they've apparently stolen the election from Donald Trump, which is quite fascinating considering that even with this mindset and believing these things, he's openly willing to sit there and do what? The establishment's bidding in attempting to get Kari Lake to acquiesce to their demands and not run for Senate. And what does that show? It shows the fact that people like this, spineless, feckless cowards, are those who Washington, D.C. loves most because they can gladly bend you over their knee and then tell you to do exactly as they please, and you will do exactly that. And something we have to address is that Kari Lake talks about the fact that, no, I can't be bought. You simply can't do this, and neither can they. They'll never be able to get me to switch my mind on these things, and they're never going to be able to buy me off. Not $1 million, not 10 million, not 100 million, not $1 billion, nothing. And like I've said many a times, Kari Lake understands something that is incredibly important, that she has found a hill worth dying on. And that is something that you need to understand. You need to find the hills that you're willing to die on, because only through truly understanding principles worth standing for in the most bold and brazen of fashion will we ever be able to really achieve a more prosperous society in the end by escaping the machinations of government and those who proliferate the halls akin to that of the disgusting filth like Jeff DeWitt. And something we can see is that Kari Lake, sitting there having this conversation, Jeff DeWitt says, "What? Are you crying?" And she says yes, because she can't believe that they would even do this, that they would consistently try this. And one thing that I wonder is it that Kari Lake is simply seeing the nature of how the establishment truly operates, and it's breaking her framework of understanding of what this entire ordeal was, what the game was constructed to be, realizing that the rules were always rigged in the favor of the powerful? It's an interesting thought. But what's also even more interesting is when Kari Lake comes out and says, you should go public with this, you should release this information. And what does Jeff DeWitt say? No, I'm going to end up sticking my key into my car and then... And what is that insinuating? That the intelligence agencies will soon have their way with him if he comes out to be a mouthpiece to stand against what? The DC establishment. And that's what so many people within the political class fear, is standing up against the elite solely for this fact, because they know they will soon end up like that of Jeffrey Epstein. I ended up sputtering and my brain basically shut off when I was talking about Jeffrey Epstein because I ended up talking about stuff that, well, let's say isn't YouTube friendly and they don't want you talking about stuff like that. So my brain kind of shut off when I realized how far I'd gone down that rabbit hole. So we're going to go ahead and call it here. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section down below. I have new videos uploading every single day at 11 a.m. Central Time. I do not take a break every day. Go ahead, subscribe if you like this kind of content. Stay lovely, stay great. Tell someone you love them. Peace out.